Are we up? Are we running?
We're
Did the
running.
go button get pushed?
We hit it.
Right. Everything's happening. Things seem to be functioning properly at this point, right?
It's Frank.
Well, you're
We
going
are.
in and out. I'm just
Oh, am I
kidding.
going in and out?
No, I'm
No.
just kidding.
Oh, dude, you are just. You know what, Steve? I'm just gonna say. You know what? That was BS, dude. That
Go
was
ahead,
not
play
cool.
the rest of the music. Let's
That
go.
was not cool,
Play
dude.
the music.
You had me, bro.
You had me.
You will get yours, Mr.
All right,
Kyles.
let's
That's
go.
all I've got to
Let's
say, my
go.
friend. Good morning and welcome to Loan Officer Breakfast Club, everybody. Glad to have you here on Monday, July 7th, 7/7/25, my friends. We're going to have a great day. We got a special guest, of course. You all know her. We call her the Connecticut Crusher, Joanne Johansen. We're going to chat with her a little bit today. She's funded a bunch of deals. We're going to find out what's going on, what's the secret sauce, what's making her tick, all that kind of fun stuff. All right, let's see. Hey, we got, wow, I haven't seen Nicholas Lascalzo before. What's going on, Nicholas Lascalzo? Did I get that right, man? Did I get the name right?
Pretty close. It's Los Scalzo.
Loscalzo.
Yeah.
Loscalzo. Yeah, that's a way better way to say it. My way wasn't as good. Your way's way better. Yeah, so
Thanks.
right on, man. Well, good morning. How are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Good to have you here. You come here all the time, or are you kind of newer here, or just never
No,
put on the
this is
camera?
this is my first time. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
Welcome.
That would be why I haven't seen you before. Well, we're
Yeah.
glad to have you here. Hey, how'd you find out about us, man?
YouTube, I think.
YouTube.
Nice.
Pesky YouTube. Yeah, that's cool. Right on. Cool. How long you been in the biz, bro?
It's kind of complicated, but pretty much new.
Pretty
Nice.
much new.
Yeah.
Yeah, like any relationship, it's kind of complicated. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, good, man. Well, glad you're here. Just keep coming here every single day, brother, and things are going to work out really well for you. But we're glad to have you here, man. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, to Nick. Hey, I just think we got to make note of Texas and just say that we're thinking of everybody out there, and we just, from the whole team, we're just thinking about you guys, and we're hoping everybody's okay, and just that. I just want to say you're on our thoughts, man. You're in our thoughts and on our hearts, and if you're out there in that area, and we just want to let you know that we're thinking about you and hope
Steve,
everything's
how
all right.
close? Steve, how close are you to the? All
Yeah,
of it?
we're a few hours. We've got some of the girls at the barn. That's what I was telling them early, that actually go to that camp. So we're just praying for the families.
Yeah.
What a just a tough thing, but it's amazing to see how Texans come together. So there's a lot of people helping in relief and recovery, and so just praying for families, man.
Yeah,
Praying
man,
for
for
God's
sure.
grace. Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see here. We got Chris Johnstone here, which is
Yeah.
always fun. And so, Chris, I think it's going to be your pleasure today to just go ahead and just find someone that we could talk to today. Let's see how things are going with them. So I'll give you the Jeopardy music. Go ahead and pick somebody.
Good morning. All right. Well, where is our buddy? He might have stepped away, but Jeff Williams. Is
Jeff
Jeff?
Williams.
Is Jeff? I
Are
see
you
him.
still with us, Jeff?
His camera's on.
Jeff Williams.
No,
Calling
don't
for
worry.
Jeff.
I got a backup.
All right.
The heck
All right.
of a
That didn't
backup.
work out. Okay. All right. That didn't work
All
out.
right.
Okay. Go ahead.
My
Pick
man,
another one.
Vince Queen.
Pick Vince
My man,
Queen. Vince Queen.
What's up?
All
man?
right, Vince Queen. What's going on, man? How are you, sir? You are muted. I'm letting you know in advance because I would have sad tromboned you without
Yeah.
hesitation.
I
You know
don't
that.
think that I couldn't have handled the moment, man, if you'd have said trombone me, man. I don't know if I can handle that kind of stuff.
How are
Man.
you, man? How are
Man.
you? Tell us a win, man. You have something good happen maybe over the weekend or last
Actually, I
week?
did. I
What
had
you
two
got?
contracts come in over the weekend.
So I'll give you,
I'll
give you
take that.
two of these.
I'll
two
take
of those.
that. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I'll take it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All day long, man.
Fantastic. Tell us more about it. Are these agents you've been working with a long time that you got these from, or are these newer ones that you had worked by working the plan, or
I
what's going
got
on?
one is a listing agent I've been working for 6 months. I finally got her on board, and I just kept calling her, and she gave me an opportunity. So that's the contract from that. The other one is an agent that I picked up about 6 months ago, and she's been feeding me stuff. Some of this stuff, is not worth eating, but she sent me something that I could eat. and I actually made it work. So
Nice.
so that's another agent that and these are new agents, both of them. So
They're newer. Yeah.
yeah, they're
But
new.
one came from the listing side. So this agent was the listing agent, and
Yes.
you did the Just Ask Tuesday. So
Absolutely.
for Nicholas, yeah, stick around. You'll learn all this stuff on Tuesdays. We do Just Ask. We call everybody in our LA active transactions, everybody in the active transaction, give them a little update, and then ask them for the business. Ask them if they know anybody else we can help. Listing agents, we pick those up all the time. You wind up picking up listing agents like crazy. And it happened. It took a little while to get a deal out of the listing agent, but you got the friendly response. You stayed in touch, Vince. Am I speaking the truth so far? Am I right?
Absolutely, man.
I'm accurate.
In fact, you don't even need me on the air here, man. You should just
Right.
keep
Let me
talking.
tell you what Vince did, everybody. I'll be the one to tell you. But no, seriously, that's kind of the path that you took, and you wound up getting the deal. So it was a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Nice number. I like nice numbers.
Nice
So
numbers. Yeah.
it's a good deal, and both of them are good deals. But the one from the listing agent is the one that I probably cherish a little bit more because I had to work my behind off to get it, and she, and when I say work my behind off though, it takes a while to build trust. And so it took me about 6 months to build that trust. But now that I got it, that probably means more than anything else.
It sure does. Yeah, it sure does. Now you're just going to kick butt on the loan, of course. You know what I mean? And it's going to be great, man. Wow, good one. Awesome. Vince Queen, everybody. Super, super
I knew
cool.
I knew this question was going to come, Frank. We just got to ask Vince. Chris wants to know, how many times did you reach out in those 6 months? What would you say, Vince?
I probably reached out once a week.
There you go.
I did it once a week for over 6 months that I reached out to. And you got to consider that she was on the other side of a deal. So I just kept the conversations going. And sometimes she would pick up, sometimes she wouldn't. And it got to a point in time where she kind of went, "Hey, you know what? You know what? Your follow-up is pretty good. I like the way you communicate. I'm gonna throw you a bone." Now, sometimes when they say they're gonna throw you a bone, it's just that ain't no meat on the bone. So
That's true.
But this time it had just enough meat on it for me to be able to do something with it. So,
Nice.
but once a week, every week for over 6 months, you had to just keep doing it.
If you're getting value from this already, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more loan officers find content that actually makes a difference. And hey, if staying ahead of the market and learning what's really working in our industry matters to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. We read every comment, so drop your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you and know what's working or what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time.
I didn't take it personal when she said when the phone wasn't picked up, but I just kept calling. So
that's such a good point. Don't take it personal, but leave the voicemail just as if you got them on the phone. You just keep on going, man. That's how this all works. Well, guys, let's get
It's time for our Mortgage Marketing Animal and Freedom Club members spotlight. Please welcome today's guest.
All right. We got Joanne Johansen in the house, and I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you just because I can. And I'm not going to trick everybody and spotlight you, Kristen. I'm not. I know you thought I was going to do that, but I didn't. Here she is.
Not at all. I love the necklace, Joanne.
Looking
You look lovely.
fabulous, by the way, Joanne. Wow.
That's you know how Wonder Woman has that bracelet?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is my
You got the necklace.
That's
right.
funny. I've never noticed her bracelet. I've never.
Oh my God,
Carl.
Mr.
I'm sitting
Carl
going,
White.
Wait, what bracelet?
All right.
She has a bracelet.
Well, Joanne, we wanted to have you on. I mean, of course, for those who come here often, Joanne has always been so kind as to pop in once in a while and give us her 2 cents, which are usually good, really, really good. And not usually, all the time. Just kidding. But Joanne, so you've been in the business a long time. Last month, you said you did 13. Yeah, 13 closed.
Yes.
This month, you're looking at about the same 13.
For 4.5
And Carl,
months.
you're here with us today. I know you had a specific question that you wanted to ask Joanne so that we could explore the answer together and learn something from it. So what was that?
Actually, I got a question to ask the group here this morning.
So Joanne, what was that? 13, 14, right?
Thir-
Is that 13?
13 for June, and we're projected to do 13 for July also.
Okay. So just in the chat, what do you think Joanne's doing that the loan officer that's closing in the single digits isn't? Just in the chat, what do you think? What do you think she's doing that somebody closing two or three or one or hey, and we've all had those, right? Goose egg in here and there. What do you think she's doing different? What do you think she's doing different? Let's see what we
There's
got.
so much good stuff in here.
Asking,
DSP,
discipline, asking more,
Consistency.
delegating,
Got a team.
picking up the phone, consistent.
Only prospecting.
Very interesting.
Not babysitting files.
Well, interestingly enough.
So Joanne, which it looks like are making more offers. It looks like if I had to grab one, it's probably more asking. But in the process, what I'm seeing other people saying is, hey, but a team letting go, but you have to let go to be able to ask for more. Because if you ask for more, you're going to get more. And if you're going to get more, you have to be in the mindset, I can handle more instead of I'm already overwhelmed, I'm already underwater. How do you not like real answer? Hey, and just for the next, you're a very humble person, right? And I get that. But just for the next 20 minutes here, take your humble hat off just for a second, right? It's just us friends here. Yeah, I appreciate that. So how does that look? How do you keep from getting overwhelmed, having a double digit closings, not just pipeline? Because somebody that's closing 13 probably has 25-ish
That's, yeah.
in the pipeline. How do you keep from getting overwhelmed that when you're talking with Realtor Laban, that you have that confidence to ask for the business because you can handle it? How do you do that?
Well, I have an amazing team, and I never, way back in the day when I started listening to Carl White, he used to say, it doesn't matter who gives the winning lottery tickets. People just want winning lottery numbers. They just want, and I was just like, in my little Joanne mind, I was like, no way. Everybody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Maybe they want to talk to me once, but you have to have a team. You cannot, if you're going to scale, you cannot do it alone.
All right, well, let's go upstream just a little bit.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm at 2 or 3. I don't have a team. What's the transition between I'm kind of struggling a little bit to, oh, well, sure, I've got a team and they're awesome, they're amazing, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting.
I think
where's that transition?
I think, and I don't know if this will be the correct answer, but I think you need to manage your time properly and be consistent, and you will slowly build on that. Like the DSP is huge. This community of MMA is it's huge. Whether it's the, Gen and Med class on Tuesday and Thursdays, Loan Officer Breakfast Club, to me, for a while, I was in the background just watching, coming on Loan Officer Breakfast Club, trying to do it on my own. But it wasn't until I became an MMA member that I was able to really understand the process, understand DSP, and manage my time. And when I first started, I had my processor, who's been with me for 8 years, going on maternity leave, and things were starting to pick up. So I was a little panicked, but I managed my time. So I think managing those 2 hours for call stars is key. That is key.
Now, how do I manage that 2 hours? So again, I've got a processor. I don't have an assistant. I closed no loans 2 months ago, 2 loans last month. I got 1 in the pipeline, 2 in the pipeline scheduled to close this week or this month. how do I delegate out that 2 hours? Because if I don't answer my phone, that might be 50%. That might be my next deal, which is 50% of the loans I'm going to close for next month. How do you manage that 2 hours? How do you disconnect for the 2 hours to prospect?
I mean, I'm not trying to sound bitchy, but if you only have 2 loans, you got time to manage the 2 hour. Like I would answer the phone, but I would be making calls. I'd be calling my database. I would not be checking my emails every 5 minutes. Nothing's popping in. If you don't have any loans, there's no emails for you to be checking. You need to be dialing out. Like Steve says, 13 talk tos a day, right? 13 talk tos a day. And it will happen. I mean, I guess it's hard for me because now I've been working so long with having an assistant and a processor. But back then I was trying to do everything. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I was never able to get past that 10 loan mark. I just wasn't able to do it other than COVID, which we don't count. So I'm not trying to sound, you told me to took my humble hat off, which I did. But if you have 2 loans in the pipeline, you have time to call your database, to follow up on open house leads, to contact your agents and say, hey, did you do an open house? Can I have the list? I will call them. There's a lot of ways that I have learned now to get the business. They all require you to pick up your phone. This very, very 100-pound.
Yeah, but Joanne, I don't want to seem desperate. I don't want to seem salesy. I don't want to be chasing people and seeming desperate. Like, how do I overcome that?
You just keep making the calls. You just I have not felt that way. And I have chased, like Vince, I have chased one listing agent. And now I think we've closed 2 or 3 like a month. And she was the one who said to me, if I take your call, will you stop calling me? I said, no, I'm just going to move you to a different day. And literally now she's one of my best agents. So I think you need to be persistent. You need to be consistent. And to steal a line from Steve Kyles, you need to do it when you don't feel like it. And I promise at the end, it's going to come together. It really will. Now, we're all in different markets though, too, right? Florida's different compared to New England. We're all in different parts of the country. So of course, things are going to be a little different. But I think even with my Florida agents, I am consistently calling them. They're like, well, things are slow. Okay, well, when they're not, keep me in mind. I can guarantee you other loan officers that are not part of MMA are not doing this. I met a person at the baseball field the other day. And she said she walked into 3 open houses, met 3 different agents, has no agent, said she had no agent, not one loan officer or one realtor followed up with her.
Wow. Interesting.
Good thing they don't want to be salesy, huh?
Yeah, and she's a cash buyer buying over 600,000 in the shoreline here. Nobody followed up with her.
Greg, you got a question, Greg?
Yeah, I got a quick one. Joanne, you and I have been doing this together for a few years now, and I'm curious, of the theme days, which one has been the most game-changing for you? Which one has moved the needle?
Tuesdays.
Yep.
Tuesdays is my favorite day.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you're doing those calls or what?
I always call the buyer's agent first. That's just me. I call the buyer's agent first. Give them an update, let them know I'm going to call the listing agent. And I'll be honest, in the past maybe 6 months, I've had a couple of buyer's agents say, please don't call the listing agent. She's a pain in the ass. She's taking what you're saying, and kind of using it against us. There was a tricky situation that I was in. So, but then I call the listing agent and I'm telling you guys, just like Vince said, that is where the gold is. These listing agents are not getting updates from other loan officers. And when you call and you do it consistently, And then after the transaction closes, you just check in with them. Hey, just checking in, had a good time working with you. If keep me in mind when you have any buyers that might be looking, buyers, sellers that are buyers. You know, I try to put a little spin on it. I will say it is sometimes very hard to ask for the business. Even now, I've been doing this a year and a half, tripping over my words sometimes. It happens. And then, of course, being able to talk to the buyers on Tuesdays. That's always, you know, they're getting excited as it's getting closer. And so I don't know if that helps.
That was excellent. Thank you.
I think Carl asked the question, what am I doing differently? I don't know if that I'm doing anything differently, but I'm being consistent. In call stars. Yes, sometimes I'm not on camera, but I'm doing it, right? Call stars, showing up for Loan Officer Breakfast Club, because I am telling you, between Loan Officer Breakfast Club, the Meg and Jen Tuesday, Thursday, having Carl make some cameo appearances on Thursdays. You never know when he's going to show up. You never know when Steve Kiles is going to show up. And they're just going to give you all these amazing like nuggets. I don't know what else to call it. It's one thing that could really change your business.
Hey, Joanne, when you Mr. Sanchez asking a great question. When you for an agent to get on your list, that's not a listing agent on your Tuesday updates, right? So it's just like, hey, I'm going to start calling on agent Jim Yarrington, just hypothetically. So I'm going to start calling on Realtor Jim because I hear he's awesome. I hear he's amazing. What do you do a lot of research on him, or do you, is he just, you look at his numbers look good, I'm calling this guy? Like, what does that look like?
Sometimes I think it's more of a personality situation. I mean, I'm very embedded in my community here in Connecticut. So I've had to really dig deep, like in Florida, just meeting agents. And I did meet with a few agents when I was down there, and I mistakenly checked their numbers after I had a conversation with them. And I was like, oh, no wonder why they had time to sit and talk with me for over an hour, because they don't have anything to do. But I will say they have consistently answered the phone when I've called. They've answered my text messages back. Again, they don't have a lot of business. Now, there's this one agent that is all over social media. Like, you would think he was a top agent. He's in all these fancy subdivisions and stuff. And I looked him up, and he isn't doing that much business at all. I think he's had 3 or 4 transactions. He looks like he's busy. You know what I'm saying? Social media makes him look like he's busy. So mine is more of, I think, and maybe it's just because I'm older, but it's like a personality thing. I have managed to capture a couple of younger agents that are, you know, young ladies, because they were like, I want to learn from you. So that's been really interesting and humbling for me. 2 of them have just like thanked me for kind of taking them under my wing. But they're also doing business. So
Very interesting. So kind of playing a mentorship role a little bit to newer qualified agents.
Right.
That's a very interesting twist. I like that.
You know, and all I did one day was say I would do an open house with her. And I did an open house for 2 hours and got 2 deals. I got the seller and I got another buyer out of that one open house. I'm not saying give up your weekends to do open houses, because I do think it depends on what area you're in. But sometimes it's a good way to pick up buyers.
Hi, thanks for enjoying Loan Officer Breakfast Club here on YouTube. I just wanted to drop in and remind you that if you're a newer loan officer and you're trying to get to that 2 or 3 deals a month, or if you're seasoned and you're trying to get from 50 to 60 or 60 to 80, Mortgage Marketing Animals has you covered. We've got the full gambit from start to finish, top to bottom. Everything you need is at mortgagemarketinganimals.com. There's a reason that mortgagemarketinganimals.com is the #1 mortgage coaching platform in the country. So check it out, mortgagemarketinganimals.com.
So,
hey, what was, when you started all this and started the Data Success Plan, what was your biggest fear and how did you overcome it?
My biggest fear was probably failing.
Mhm.
You know, I have
And,
that.
and wait, what does failing look like to you?
Carl, that's a tough question. Don't make me cry. I've been through 2008, you know.
Mm.
Failing in 2008 was tough. But coming back from 2008 has been very sweet. I think failing for me, you know, I mean, I've told the story really quick. When I started, I wasn't even paying myself a salary. I couldn't even afford to pay myself. So really anything above that was going to be good, right? But I think failing would probably closing my office, having to get rid of my processor, moving my business back home, so I didn't have those expenses. That's probably what failing would have looked like.
Mm.
And that
And
really,
did that happen? Did that happen for you in 2008?
oh God, yeah,
Yeah,
that.
same here, by the way. Same
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
how did you not overcome it, but how did you rise up from the ashes?
I have a very, very supportive husband who believes in me more than I believe in myself. So I'm very blessed. I got out of the business a little bit because remember, if you had any type of dings on your credit, they didn't want you to get licensed. Remember, we had to take a test and all that. So I had to really, it was very hard for me to even keep my license. I did. I held it with a broker shop. When I had something, you know, come through, I got this little job paying me $25 an hour where I sat in a cubicle and died a little bit each day. And then one day I just took a deep breath and I said to my husband, I can't do this anymore. I have to give it one more try. And then I made a promise to myself when I made X number of dollars on a W-2, it was time for me to open my own business. And I worked for two great brokerage shops. These guys were amazing. The second place, when I had to leave, it was very hard for me, but I knew I had to do it like for me and my family. Because I knew you know, all the leads I was getting, everything was coming from me. It wasn't who I worked with. Right. So I scratched my way back. I hate to say it, but all of us that have been here since 2008, it was difficult, but we're here. And then in February of last year, I was kind of having that same, you know, oh shit moment, like, oh my God, right? I know I learned from that experience. And I have found over the last year and a half that I'm coachable. I want to learn. That's the other thing. You have to want to learn. No, I really feel none of this is salesy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Steve and Carl and Frank and Chris and Meg and Jen and Kristen and Krista, Jennifer and her beautiful smile. Everybody wants us to succeed. And they're sharing this information so we can succeed. And, you know, I have talked to countless people, countless other loan officers that have called me. Can I pick your brain? Can I do this? Absolutely. Call me. I'm happy to chat with you. So
you've
I
done a
think
great
we all
job.
want each other to succeed.
You know, I'm getting out of this, Steve.
Yeah.
Burning desire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know what you did too, Joanne? You made a decision. And I think until you make a decision, and a decision is that's the way I'm going, regardless of how painful it is, or you think it might be, you know, it's always a challenge because there's a moving back and forth, but you've made a decision that you're going to do the right activity. And it goes back to a process.
Yeah. And I bet everyone here has other people that depend on you.
Yeah.
That they depend on your success, right? And that's a heavy weight on people's shoulders, especially when you have that, what's that thing called? When you doubt yourself. Imposter syndrome. Right?
We all have it. We all have it.
We all have
I mean,
it.
it just goes back to you just got to move through it, and that's what you've done. So great
Yeah.
job. Hey, before
just
we
real
move
quick,
over to Marcy, hey, let me do one thing. If I saw somebody say, "Is there an Excel document?" Hey, what's the script? There were several questions. If you'll drop it in the chat, we'll jump on a call with you. The team will jump on and we'll walk you through some of that. Jen, drop a link in the chat that someone could schedule a call with the team, and we'll show you the Excel document some of the scripts we're using. So go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, daily success plan, dailysuccessplan.com. And I know we got to move to Marcio, but my 2 cents on Joanne too. Everything, Carl, what you said, absolutely. Steve, absolutely. What you said too. Takeaways from me. But the other one too that just really stood out at the very end was, she's a 30-year vet who said, "I'm coachable." That's hard to find. You wind up being in this business for a really long time. You think you know everything. You think you can do things better. You think you can, you've got the answers, right? I'm not going to try that. But when you come to the point, you go, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a try and just be coachable for a minute. Really, really cool. I just think that's awesome. And so let's get to Marcio. What do you got?
Thanks, guys. Joanne, really appreciate the honesty and the sharing with us today. Almost felt like a therapy session, right? The sharing, so I appreciate it. The comments, because I do empathize with recovering from 2008, and it's one of the things we don't talk about on the morning too often, but I've heard it on both Steve's podcast and on Carl's podcast, and which is a recommendation to save 25% of every commission check for the days that the cows are a little leaner, right? So I've certainly started taking that to heart and putting that away so that a future 2008 or a future down year does not bring back those memories and actions, So
Indeed.
Just my 2 cents there. But Joanne, I really, really appreciate the sharing today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. If you've been through 2008, you've been through the war. If you're still here,
Yeah. Brad, what you got?
Joanne, she's very consistent. She does everything she's supposed to, but what no one else, or at least I've noticed, Joanne has an incredible personality. And when she is making her calls and speaking to the people that she's calling, that personality must be coming through, and that's got to have a big effect on your success, Joanne. You're a wonderful person, and it's gotta shine through when you're making those calls.
Thank you.
Good for you. Good for you, girl.
When I call, I smile a lot.
That's it. No,
These
I mean
teeth weren't cheap. You know what I'm saying?
but that I think that's a very big part of your success as well. I mean, just your personality is a very strong personality. Good for you.
My 5th grade teacher said I was good in 2 things, talking and math. So here I am.
Hilarious. But the other thing too that comes across with you, Joanne, I think is you just talking to you're a straight shooter. I think that really comes through. This gal's not BSing me in any way. She's a straight shooter. Whether I like her or not, that's another thing, but she's shooting straight.
You know what the best part is? I don't care if you don't like me.
Right. Good. Yeah, that's where you have to be.
That comes with age, though. That comes with age.
Indeed. Well, hey, let's thank you, Joanne. Everybody, cheers. Thanks so much, man. So good to have you. Hey, guys, tomorrow, remember we're doing the series on the mid-year business plan. We're going to have some new stuff to talk about tomorrow. And Carl, I think we're going to talk about what to keep and what to lose or something along that lines. I can't remember what you're going to decide that later today. But, don't forget about that tomorrow. It's going to be great. And today is Monday. So on Monday, who can tell us what we're doing on Mondays? Maybe Joanne can tell us what we do on Mondays. What's Monday? What do we do today on our theme day?
Today we call our top 40 agents. We call our post coffee. And I can't remember what else. Sorry.
Trying to get new appointments.
Trying to get new appointments. Well, of course, trying to get new appointments.
Yeah.
New appointments, post coffee, and our agents that are sending us consistent business.
Right on, man.
Right on.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much. So let's make our agent calls today. We got to get out of here. Who's in, man? Thumbs up if you're in. Hey, if you need some help, go to dailysuccessplan.com. Dailysuccessplan.com will help you along the way. Nicholas Loscalzo, was it a good day? Was it a good first time here? Pretty good? Yeah, keep coming back, man. You'll enjoy. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Adios.
See you.
Have a great day, everybody.